fear or fascination, revulsion or rapture. These are feelings people have when they dream of snakes. When snakes show up in dreams, they get a response and often leave people with questions. In this video, we're going to teach you what snakes mean in a dream. But not only that, by the end, you'll understand why a snake showing up in your dream may be a big deal. Welcome to DreamSpeak, where we teach you step by step how to interpret your dreams. First, it's useful to understand how dream symbols work. You always need to combine the universal meaning of a symbol with its personal meaning for you. In dream interpretation, these meanings are like two sides of a coin. This video will discuss several of the possible universal meanings of a snake in a dream, but it will be important to reflect on both what you saw and what you felt towards the snake to fully understand. At the end of this video, a real dream example will show you how the universal and personal can be combined to unlock the meaning of snakes in a dream. The symbolic meaning of a snake in a dream is nuanced, but a full understanding of it can be rewarding to your understanding of yourself and what is happening within you at this time. Many cultures across the centuries have considered snakes important. Thus, snakes have a long symbolic history in human society. From the medical field to the Bible, people keep bringing up snakes. In medicine, the snake is shown wrapped around a staff. This or a similar image is used as the logo of many medical associations, such as the AMA, hospital chains, first responders, and others. The symbol is called the Rod of Asclepius, and interestingly, it has a connection to dreaming. In ancient Greece, Asclepius was the god of healing, and people traveled long distances to arrive at sleep temples called Asclepion. Temple priests helped them get prepared to ask for a dream, which the priest would interpret, and based on its meaning, prescribe them associated treatments. Non-venomous snakes were kept inside the sleep chambers. Some point to the shedding of skin as a symbol of renewal. Others refer to the dualistic nature of a physician's work, dealing with both life, symbolized by the rod, and death, symbolized by the snake. And still others note that the term for medication, pharmakon, in ancient Greek meant both medication and poison. A drug has the power to both harm and heal, just as a snake symbolizes both death and renewal. Many indigenous tribes have shared a belief that encountering a snake may be a significant event. We refer to this view of snakes as shamanic. DreamSpeak believes that shamanic views on animal encounters in both dreams and waking life deserve respectful consideration. Because these meanings and ways of relating to our non-human relatives on the planet were devised over tens of thousands of years of lived experience. The world's indigenous tribes have had and continue to have significant intellectual and philosophical traditions, which can contribute greatly to our understanding of nature and of ourselves. For instance, most tribes have an encyclopedic understanding of their regional plants. All food sources and all healing properties are known and utilized. Tribes also have a rich moral and religious tradition. The training of shamans who hold their traditional knowledge and philosophical insights can require more than 20 years of full-time study. There are many shades of meaning and nuances to shamanic views of the snake, but one that is widely shared is that the snake is a carrier of wisdom. Another common view is that a snake is a harbinger of transformation due to the shedding of its skin, which it must do to survive. Hinduism places significant value on the snake. Within its mystical path, it is said that human beings all carry a seed of divinity. We all have the basic conditions to become awake to our identity as divine beings. Realized people demonstrate this mystical union with God not only through amazing abilities such as reading others' thoughts, but more importantly, through a seemingly invincible love for others. Figures like Mother Teresa, Neem Karoli Baba, and Thich Nhat Hanh, or in a more worldly sense, Jimmy Carter, Gandhi, or former President of Uruguay, Jose Mujica, exemplify this trait. What does this have to do with the snake? Hindus believe this spiritual potential lies coiled at the base of the spine and spirals up the spinal column like a snake as it gradually, or suddenly, awakens. It is known as our Kundalini. In Christianity, the creation story includes the temptation of Eve by Satan in the form of a serpent. Many people take this story as a parable. In such an interpretation of Genesis, Satan is seen differently, not as the source of all evil, but as the intrinsic shadow side to reality. And his form as a serpent is seen as similar to the Kundalini spoken of in Hinduism, for along with the wisdom to know the truth, one must also inevitably be disillusioned and learn not only about the evil in the world, but also about the evil tendencies within ourselves. As we learn to be truly good to others and righteous in our lives, we must also make mistakes along the way. We must leave the garden to gain real ownership of our free will and choose by our free will to be good, rather than being naive to the choices that we're presented with. The myths of the whole human family worldwide can be said to be depicting the life journey. One important step in this journey is leaving home, like the garden in Genesis. This monomyth was described by Joseph Campbell. Commonly known as the hero's journey, it can be clearly illustrated in many of the world's tales. One example is the life story of the Buddha as it has been passed down. As a young man, he was kept captive by his father, the king, who lived in fear of a prophecy that he might forsake the throne once he entered adulthood. His father endeavored to keep Siddhartha the Buddha sheltered from all of life's grief and suffering, showing him only the beauties and luxuries of the world within the castle walls. But after a time, the Buddha began to sneak out and saw the truth of the world outside. His father's worst fears had come to pass. The Buddha did indeed forsake the pleasures of the palace, but in so doing, he left behind ignorance and became a fully realized person. These are the overtones suggested by the presence of a snake in a dream. Now that we have a grasp of the universal meaning, here is a real example of a dream including snakes that we hope will shed some light, pun intended, on how to combine the universal meaning of snakes with the personal meaning and gain a valuable message. Rika had a dream where there was an aspect of her consciousness, represented by an unknown woman, that had accidentally triggered the spontaneous appearance of many snakes and was attempting to keep them under control. In Rika's dream, a major sign that the emergence of the snakes was a good thing was their beauty. Their scales were shimmering and iridescent. These snakes indicated a transformation in Rika's life. We realized she had recently experienced a breakthrough in feeling more independent and worthy. The sudden multiplying of the snakes highlighted the sudden increase in self-love in her waking life and gave her perspective on how she was responding. Up to that point, she had been trying to keep the changes within herself under wraps, but this dream was encouraging her to let them loose and embrace a more powerful version of herself, fueled by the greatest source of all, love. We want to give special thanks today to Wikipedia and the Wikimedia Foundation for putting information about Asclepius and the sleep temples at our fingertips. Rika and I have supported Wikipedia for several years now. Please consider supporting the mission of Wikipedia to disseminate the world's knowledge for free. Watch our video, How to Interpret a Dream in 5 Minutes. You're ready. Learn to get the messages from snake dreams in all your dreams and act on them in your waking life. You'll be surprised how far your dreams can take you in the direction of your own fulfillment and happiness. Thanks for learning with us today on DreamSpeak, and keep dreaming.